Hello, everybody. Aiden here, and welcome into today's emergency episode of Around the Slice. I say emergency because I just had to jump on here quick right now, today, this afternoon, because we have breaking news as it relates to the Buffalo Bills. Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills have finally gotten aggressive, and finally, after 2 or 3 years of searching since moving on from Stephon Diggs, found their new wide receiver one by acquiring veteran wide receiver DJ Moore from the Chicago Bears. So first, I'm going to present you with the official terms of the deal, then introduce DJ Moore and discuss him as a player and his skill set and what he brings / provides to this team and franchise as a whole. And then lastly, just for fun on my end, I'll give you a concrete letter grade from my perspective for the Buffalo Bills and Brandon Beane in the acquisition, of DJ Moore. So let's start right off the bat with the official terms of the trade between the Buffalo Bills and Chicago Bears. The Buffalo Bills receive wide receiver DJ Moore and a 2026 fifth-round pick this year. The Chicago Bears receive a 2026 second-round pick this year. I'll get to my thoughts on that compensation. But official age and measurables in DJ Moore as a player, he turns 29 years old next month in April from now, and he is 6 foot, 213 pounds. So he's not the tallest guy in the world, but he's not the shortest guy in the world either. He's got some pretty good height to him at 6 foot, and at 213 pounds, he has a pretty big frame to go along with that low center of gravity type shifty build as well. First couple of things right off the bat, watching him over the multiple years, his early years in Carolina when he was awesome, and then he's also been awesome in Chicago before they traded him and moved on, obviously, because now they have Luther Burden and Colston Loveland and Roma Dunze. The first couple of things you notice with DJ Moore watching him, he's an absolutely pristine route runner to the highest degree possible, to the umpteenth degree, if you will. You watch him, head fakes, route breaks. He can line up in the slot, line up on the outside. He even takes carries this year for the Bears. He can take any screen to the house. Is he some burner or high-level athlete downfield who can get open in an instant? No. But he knows where the ball to go when the ball is in his hands. And that brings me to his yards after catch ability. He's literally like a running back with the ball in his hands because DJ Moore is, in fact, number one trait, a yak monster. He is a yards after catch demon. And the Bills need that because it's like Khalil Shakir. Everyone else just catches the ball and falls down. Keon Coleman, if he gets targeted, catches it and falls down. Dalton Kincaid, if he gets targeted, catches it and falls down. Now we have two yak monsters in Khalil Shakir and DJ Moore. And Khalil Shakir is unfortunately a slot-only player, but DJ Moore is very versatile in terms of lining up in the backfield and slot, and most importantly, out wide. Speaking of lining up out wide, you might think, oh, he's not 6'4", he's not 25 pounds, so he doesn't separate that well and high point the football. That couldn't be farther from the truth. In terms of skill set, DJ Moore metrically was one of the very best separators on the outside last season. And although he's quote unquote only 6 foot, 213 pounds, he doesn't play like it. He plays above his weight class. He doesn't know he's small, even though he technically is. He doesn't know he's small. He's great in contested. He's very good in contested catch situations for not the tallest guy in the world, kind of more of a slender build, if you will. So he just has an all-around great skill set. He's the prototypical veteran, potential wide receiver one you would want. Pristine route runner, yards after catch monster, elite separator, surprisingly very good contested catch ability at his smaller size and frame compared to some other bigger dudes. Now we get to the draft pick compensation. So this would be a wide receiver one on the outside immediately, because our quote-unquote outside receivers going into the next season before this was, number one, Curtis Samuel is going to be cut within the next 2 days. Number two, it was Josh Palmer and Keon Coleman. I mean, we were throwing the dudes like Gabe Davis, Tyrell Shavers, and Brandon Cooks. No shade to them. But if you're relying on a 33-year-old Brandon Cooks is literally your only option on the outside and passing up Keon Coleman, you got problems. So anyway, now we get to the draft pick compensation. A second round pick this year. In my opinion, that's nuts. That's a pretty steep price, in my opinion, to give up. Now, I know everyone is screaming through the screen right now and is going to complain, well, Aiden, everyone's been complaining that Brandon Beane isn't aggressive enough, and then he goes out and is aggressive, and you're still complaining. Yeah, but for a receiver that's going to be making $24.5 million per year over the next 4 years, significant cap hits all over the place, that's a steep price, a second-round pick, especially in a deep wide receiver class like this one. Now, I will say, it's not the worst thing in the world because you don't have to take a first-round wide receiver anymore at 26 overall. Like before. Before, you had to take a first-round wide receiver at 26 overall, like a Casey Concepcion or Denzel Boston. I was going to lose my mind. Now, I still want a first-round receiver, but it's not a must anymore like it was previously before this moment today. I was going to say if you get Chris Brazzell or some speedster like that in the second round, that would, oh, baby, now you're cooking, but you don't have 60 overall anymore, a second-round pick. In the first round, you better take a wide receiver now in the first round because you don't have that second-round pick. There's a big gap there between first and third round. But I've cooled off on KC Concepcion after the DJ Moore trade, not in terms of the skill set and player. I love KC Concepcion from a draft perspective in general. But he's basically just a way younger version of DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore, smaller, shifty guy. Kier, smaller, shifty guy. I want size, so I'd be pinpointing Denzel Boston, even trading up a few spots, but maybe he does fall to you. So that would be the dream fit. They got a couple shifty guys in DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir. Now I think they got to get a size guy in Denzel Boston, and Ken Coleman doesn't count. He's not a refined player at all. Some size guy that actually, knows how to play football at a high level. Sorry, but Keon doesn't do that. But anyway, I think this is a really aggressive price point, capital given up, if you would, at a second-round pick, especially this year. I really like the receivers in the second or third round. Now they're going to have to wait the third round. Probably going defense at this point in the first round. Again, unless Denzel Boston's dream fit is there. But trading for DJ Moore, I think we finally have a wide receiver one. I think people forget just how good he is because he got passed up by Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, at times even Roma Dunze last year in Chicago. But Caleb Williams took a huge step, right? But per the Fantasy Points data suite, 89th best. DJ Moore's catchable ball rate from Caleb Williams ranked 89th in the entire NFL. That's horrible. Caleb Williams and DJ Moore just not had a connection. Caleb Williams and Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Colston Loveland had an elite high-level connection, but him and DJ Moore, pretty poor. And he would be the third, maybe even fourth option if you do include Colston Loveland in that passing game. And now with the Bills, no shade to Khalil Shakir, but he can't line up on the outside, and DJ Moore can for the most part. So locked in 100-plus targets, hopefully more year in and year out going forward. The last couple off seasons since moving on from Stephon Diggs, they've tried this song and dance with, moderately good free agents, moderately expensive free agency deals. They gave $11 million to Curtis Samuel 2 years ago. Complete flop. They gave $11 million per year to Josh Palmer over 3 years last offseason. Complete flop. Although I am interested to see maybe in not as big of a role how that does work out. But obviously, this wipes all the other trade options off the board. The pipe dream of Justin Jefferson completely out the window. The buying low on B2J, Brian Davis Jr. situation out the window. Buying low on a generational talent in Marvin Harrison Jr. No more. And then A.J. Brown, who I was pretty excited about. You always have to deal with the attitude and on the field issues, completely out the window. That was going to be really high capital given up anyway. I'm still not against signing Mike Evans anymore. I would personally still slam dunk home run do it, and then the wide receiver room would be awesome. But I don't think they can afford it. I don't think they can afford these with the DJ Moore cap hit. Now, I don't think they can afford this Mike Evans, Romeo Dobbs tier. I think they're more looking at a pure speedster in Rashid Shaheed, and you go the cheap speedster route, and Jalen Naylor. I want a pure speed demon like Rashid Shaheed in free agency, like a Chris Brazzell, maybe moving up from the third round to the late second round, like a 4-round jump, but still. I think a wide receiver room of DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman as your 4th or 5th option, and then Chris Brazzell as your speedster option, as your true X speedster option. Now, baby, you're cooking. That is incredible. So, just to recap, I went through the skill set. I went through the full terms of the trade. What is a concrete grade I would give the Buffalo Bills? I'm going to give it a B+. Yeah, it's a really steep price. Not really steep. It's a bit of a steep price, but it's a skill set that Brandon Beane and company and Joe Brady absolutely needed. Again, Shakir's a slot only. Dalton Kincaid's a big slot. And then we got a versatile guy who can line up slot, outside, and backfield in DJ Moore. And then hopefully we invest really high in the draft. Chris Brazzell is my option, but hopefully a dream fit of Denzel Boston to get some legit size who's actually good. Sorry, Keon. Anyway, B+ it is. So that is today's emergency episode / pod, if you will, for the Buffalo Bills acquiring DJ Moore. For one final time, I'm giving it a B+. You can follow me on Twitter /X at AWeingartner13 as I was reacting live and instant reactions to this trade. Or if you want any additional Buffalo Bills thoughts, discussions, and opinions, please make sure to follow me over there. Tons of fun as always. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please like and subscribe. And you can, of course, watch or listen to this podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Please share this episode and channel with anyone and everyone you know. Please let me know down in the YouTube comments below. Do you think this is a bit of a too steep of a price for a second-round pick for DJ Moore like I do? But also, do you see how much of a skill set the Bills desperately needed like I do? And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, which I'll be back on Friday, March 6th, so literally tomorrow at the time of this recording, for our final conversation going over Bills' defensive free agent targets, because I think we need to sink some significant money to that once again, unfortunately. See you guys next time. This was a fun emergency episode. Finally got a wide receiver one. Brandon Beane's finally aggressive. Thank you for the support as always. Goodbye.